uh, and being divorced at the same time. But Theron and I, we have a Theron and I go back to what I hate to to date us, but back to what it was 88, 89,
Somewhere around in there.
somewhere around in there.
Yeah, 80, 88, 88.
88. Okay, yeah, because that was after I left Brown and we met at DeKalb Tech off
And
of
I came back, and I just had came back from Albany State.
just growths and things like that. So I guess we just cut to the chase. What brought you to create Dad's Unbroken?
Um, Created as Unbroken because to have a platform for fathers, um, to have dialogue. As fathers, you always hear about the deadbeat dads and things of that nature. So you never really hear about anything positive about most dads. You never hear about what we do. You always hear about what we don't do. And so Dads Unbroken was created so we have a platform for dads to come together, have dialogue, and also to encourage one another, also share our stories.
Right.
And as a father, I have two older daughters out of wedlock. Then I have three kids, two daughters and a son from marriage. So I've been a part of both sides, from the divorced father and then from the two kids out of wedlock. And so just to be real, I've been paying. I have a 17-year-old son in college, so I still got to April. So I've been paying child support since like 1992. So I have a son that's 17. My oldest daughter is 28. So I've been doing it for a while. So so I'm well versed in dealing with um, dealing with relationships as a father, dealing with the mothers and the ups and downs and the court systems and things of that nature. And so as fathers, we always get most times we get the raw deal. Never hear outside of it, and we never really talk about it as men, because most times as men, if you talk about, complain about paying child support, what the woman putting you through, um, then you get seen as a punk.
Right.
And so this platform allows us to talk about those things and give fathers an opportunity to really have dialogue, but not to dog women out and call them, different names, stuff like that, but just for us to be accountable, both sides, men and the women, and for us to grow and to strengthen our black family.
I got you. I got you. So the issue is basically on some of your personal experiences there primarily, because I guess you saw that there was really no support system there for men that were in your position at that time.
Right. As a father, you have to go down to child support places like that. It's all women. All the women treat you as if you're their baby's fathers, and so and that's an issue. That's a problem. And so, and many times, fathers you get frustrated, you get emotional, and things of that nature. And so, only thing that does is cause you more problems. And so I've experienced that. So I've learned how to navigate the system, how to deal with it, how to strengthen relationship with the mothers, and how to stay engaged with the kids, and how to use the system and to our advantage, and use the resources that they have available, and try to avoid some of the issues that we have with the court systems and with your, if you will, your baby mama drama. So so that's why I started as Unbroken, to help guys to navigate through this, because you still have guys who are going through this, and you have guys who've been through it. So if we share our knowledge, it can better the situation, help each other get through it better, and just let guys know, hey man, you're not alone. You're not the first. You're not the last. And so, but it does get better. There is Skittles at the end of the rainbow.
I got you. I feel you. So in dealing with the young men and probably some of the older men too, because I'm pretty sure this is not just a young, it's not age specific once it comes to divorce and fathers. What seems to be the number one challenge that fathers face um, in having to navigate through that system, say with a yeah, I mean, I guess I don't want to answer the question before answer, but um, what is the number one thing that men face when they come to you that you found?
Most number one thing is guys have problems with the mothers not allowing the fathers to see the kids and not sticking to the court orders. And so that's the biggest thing. And where we go wrong as men is not holding women in contempt. And when you don't hold them in contempt, when they don't follow the court orders, you don't record it and let the judge know what's going on, then you really don't have a track record of holding her accountable. And so you don't do that. You just let her go on and on and on and doing those things that she's not supposed to do. And they cause a problem with you, not being able to spend time with your kids. It's just a trickle down effect. And then once you do go to court, and there are issues, but you hadn't recorded, you hadn't held the kid's mother accountable, so there's no track record. So they're looking at you like, hey, you got to documentation is everything. And so from my experience as a father, my older two kids, their mother did a whole lot of stuff, but I didn't hold them accountable and hold her accountable in contempt because from my perspective at that time was that because nobody told me, nobody shared it with me because I wasn't close to anybody who went through what I was going through. So I didn't hold her in contempt. I was worried about dragging my kids through the system and things of that nature, and which I was wrong. So the next time around when I went through a divorce, it was different. But two, primarily the women were different as well too. So my kids grew up with me in the house until they were 12 years old. So it was a little bit different.
Right. Wow. And it's tough to me. I was a single father myself under those circumstances. But nevertheless, so as you guys are navigating through this system of courts and the mother's not holding up the end of the bargain when it comes to the court orders and whatnot, and you see you got to record things. Um, but how does because I'm pretty sure things come up. But how does one navigate when they're trying to do everything that's within their power, and and the mother just won't let them do what they want to do, and there necessarily is no court order. Does he need to go ahead and just try to establish a court order himself to make sure that he can spend the time and whatever's necessary to for the child?
Yeah, sometimes you're not looking at options. So sometimes you have to go and get a court order to get on child support. Sometimes you're not. That's the only option you're left with when the mother don't let you see the kid and things of that nature. So sometimes that's your only option. And when you do that, the thing is, you got to maintain your composure. And as a father, like I said, you got to keep documentation about everything. Because even if you're paying child support right now, I mean, even if you're spending money on your kids or buying things or having receipts, of course, we don't care about that. They want to see some money moving to bank accounts. That's what they care about. They want to see this track record of you putting money in these bank accounts. That's what they care about. So by just buying your kids nothing, but just buying them things and having a receipt, of course, care less. They want to see you transfer money from one account to the other account. So if you're having issues as a single father or non-custodial parent, it's best for you to put yourself on child support. Even though it sounds bad, we shouldn't have to do that thing. We're all adults. But sometimes that's the only option we have to see your child, to fight for your child. So I spoke with a young man earlier today who had to do that because he went through a divorce, had a 7-year-old daughter, and his wife decides they went through a divorce, and she decides up and leave, move to Florida. And so, and she stopped letting him see the baby on FaceTime and things of that nature, and changed the number. So he had to call the house number so he can't FaceTime off the house phone. So just call these type of things. So you just things like that, you got to document it. And you got to go to court. You got to let your attorney know, and you got to share that stuff with the judge. So we can't just be passive and allow things to happen. That's the wrong thing to do. Because in the end, it hurts the kids. It hurt both. And relationships the father has with the kids are very important. It's very important.
Yeah, I mean, except it goes back to earlier when you complain about it and you're seen as a punk and you're not a real man and get over it and keep pushing along. But at some point, um, right is right and wrong is wrong. Because, like you just said, you know, inevitably the child is going to be the one that's ultimately hurt with all the bickering and what's not and what's going on. Because the last thing you want to do is have to have that conversation, either mother or father, when that child get older, and says, "Hey, what's up? Why didn't you let me see my dad?" Or, "Hey, dad." no one wants to hear.
Right. And one thing as a father, what I've never done, I've never talked negative about my kid's mother to them. That's something you never do as a father. So just something you gotta let the mother's portrayal of herself, let the kids see them for who they are on their own. So you never see that perception. So their perception, my kids have their mothers as one of their mothers gave them, not me or anybody else. So you'll never hear me talk negative about them because that's their mother at the end of the day. And so as men, it's kind of hard because we're stuck. We're put in this box. Society has us in this box of, deadbeat dads. We're all not deadbeat dads. Some are, but most of us aren't. And that we're in our kids' lives, and it's a struggle when sometimes even the mothers are being very divisive. And you're doing everything you can, and they still creating this negative connotation of the father to the kids. And so as men, like I said, we just can't come out and say, hey, she's doing this, she's doing that. Like you said, we look like punks. And so a lot of times we just sit there and take all this stuff, and we're not in our kids' lives like we're supposed to be because we're not fighting. And sometimes you gotta fight. You gotta fight. And sometimes you gotta Dad's Unbroken becomes a resource and a safe haven for men to share and help each other because you don't know what you don't know. And if you hadn't been there, so you won't know how to navigate this stuff. And so by just having dialogue about what someone been through, your experience can help the next guy to better to navigate through the system. Because there's accountability. Even though she's doing certain things, you got to remember that when you're not being engaged in your kids' lives, you're keeping from them. On that court order, it has if you have joint custody. You can go to the school and see your kids.
Right.
You can go to the school and see. Find out. You can find out when you can go up and have a parent-teacher conference. You don't need her permission to do that. There's a court order, so the school can't keep you away. She can't tell them school not let you come up there if you have joint legal custody. So as men, we have to be smart about it. So we got to call our kids. When you with them, let them know you love them. Spend that time with them. Just reinforce how much you care about them. So because most times on the other end, it's something totally different. Most totally different from hearing from the mom and from the other families as well. Not all, but some are doing that. And so it's our job as fathers to be engaged, to find out when there's special events, whatever they have. The only way you know what they got going on is by keeping up with the school calendar is and by calling your kids and reaching out. So if you can't reach them, if like my son's in the band. So when there's a football game, you can look it up on the internet, on the school website. So don't use excuses for the mother not telling you what's going on in your kids' lives for you not to be engaged. So don't do that. There's accountability on our part as men. So there's ways you can be engaged. And so you just got to fight. You got to be smart. You got to figure out ways to do that. And when your kid, you show up to those events and your kids see you there, they know you love them because they know you love them. And so, but when you engage your kids, they'll let you know about what's going on when they get a certain age. When they become teenagers, they'll let you know what's going on.
So basically, put it in a nutshell: don't wait till visitation day to talk to your children.
No, I text my kids every day. Even when I don't talk to them, I text them every day. My older two, different, because they didn't grow up in the house with me, so they're different. Their mother's different, and so they're still hurt by the fact that they didn't get to grow up in the house because I've never married their mother, and so even that relationship right now is strained. And they're 28 and 25 years old. But my younger three, we're close. Talk to them all the time. One of my kids, my 21-year-old, I talk to her almost every day. She's in college. All three of my youngest in college, talk to her almost every day. But I text them every day. I'm always sending them words of encouragement every day. So as far as we have no excuse for not being in our kids' lives. So even if you don't talk to them, you should at least text them so they'll know that you care. So there's accountability on our part. You do everything that you can to let them know you care. Like I said, like go by the school. If they play volleyball, go to the camp, go to the games, baseball, football, whatever. Just show up and make sure they see you.
I got you. That makes sense. I mean, because actions speak louder than words. So when they look up in the stands and see you there, look on the side of the track and see you there, that goes a long way. It goes a very, very long way. Talking to children that their parents never show up to their events, either for working or just being absent altogether. I mean, it plays a really, really big role in in the development of your children when you show up to those kind of functions, and let them know that you have their back, and that you're going to be there for them. So it's very, very important information also. So how do people contact you, gentlemen, contact you if they want to become a part of your circle with That's Unbroken, or if they need some assistance, some guidance, some resources? How does one contact you so we can share that information with the public?
Yeah, you can reach me on Instagram at Dad's Unbroken, and also Facebook Dad's Unbroken. And my Dad's Unbroken group are for men only. So our conversation is just on with men. There are no women on any of the pages, Instagram or the Facebook page. So all the women that are trying to join, you won't be able to get in. It's for men only. It's private for us to have our conversation dialogue to grow as men and try to strengthen our Black families.
I understand. We know what the problems are right now in our society, but like I said, I like to focus on solutions, and sounds like you have one of the solutions is keeping, a broken home does not make a broken family. And that's what you're displaying with us right now with your group, the Dads Unbroken, because just because you're not in the house doesn't mean that you can't be in the family. The kids, they still need you.
Yeah, sometimes we, as the men, we think once you divorce the mom, you divorce the kids. No, you divorce the mother, not the kids. The mother, the relationship with the mother and the relationship with the kids are two separate relationships. So sometimes we forget that. We forget that as a father, and the mothers forget that as well. And so, if the focus on the kids, the situation will be totally different. A lot of times the focus is on each other, and the reality of it is, Randy, hurt people.
Right.
And sometimes the kids are just collateral damage. And it's a shame, but that's the way it is sometimes. The parents are busy trying to hurt one another, and the kids are collateral damage, and they should be the focus.
Right. People get lost in their emotions, and emotions can make us do some crazy things, and take us outside of who we are, at some point. So got to be careful about those things. I mean, that's why counseling and stuff like that is so very important. People do a lot of premarital counseling, but they don't do any postmarital counseling. Um, you know what I mean? Which I
And during marriage counseling and you know
so
yeah, mental health is just like exercising. You need that too. You need to keep your mind strong and clear and healthy. So even as I think even some of the families when you're divorced, I think it's important that you go to counseling. Um, for kids to have someone to talk to, but sometimes they can't talk to either the parents because they don't feel comfortable and they're kids, so they really don't want to take sides. We should put that in a position for them to take sides. So we should be, as parents, should just love our kids and try to make the situation as comfortable as possible. Because at the end of the day, we're all adults. We should be able to handle the situation, raising our kids without the court system telling us when we can say our kids, when we can't say our kids, what's money we need to spend on our kids and things of that nature. So I really, if the grand scheme of things, we think about it, it's really crazy.
it is. It is. It totally is. It's not even an excuse for it. Quite honest with you, not even an excuse for it. I can't even believe that we even have to have that kind of discussion. You know what I'm saying? Where somebody got to tell us as people what we got to do with our children. You know, so didn't take a whole lot of instruction for you to lay down. So, but all of a sudden now you need instructions on how to take care of your children. It's pretty shame. But hey, is what it is. That's what you're here for. That's what our community is going to be looking to you for, to help those that don't have that information, to help them gather the information and strengthen themselves so they can be a pillar to their family. Um, is there any closing words that you'd like to share with us before we turn off?
I just wanted to say too, man, it's funny. It's a double-edged sword. You have mothers and fathers who are good parents. Then you have the divisive side of them. So it's like a double-edged sword. You're a good parent and you're a bad parent. And so we have to find that medium where you're a good parent. So you got to be a good parent all the time, and the focus has to be on the kids. So just focus on the kids and don't make any excuses, fathers, for not being in your kids' lives. There's ways to do that, and stop taking it. Take the emotions out of the mother, dealing with the mother. Take the emotion side out and focus on the kids. Emotions are what get us in trouble. Emotions are what cause all the disharmony and the fight and things of that nature, and focusing on the kids. So take the emotions out and focus on doing what's right. And hopefully that'll help strengthen the Black family.
Gotcha. And once again, you can find on Instagram and on Facebook. Dads Unbroken. These are both men only groups. Ladies, just pray for the men. But this is a men only type situation so that men can share their stories and their feelings without any outside influence or persecution. So thank you guys for tuning in to The Next Move. I want to thank Theron with Dads Unbroken for joining us this evening. And we'll see you next time. And until then, you enjoy your week and figure out what the next move is. Remember, we're all about solutions, not the problem. Y'all have a good night.